y'all, it's Natalie, and today is time for the January Cherry on Top Design Team Hop, and today we're focused on About Me. So we're all doing projects about ourselves, which I think is really fun. So I have this background paper. It's from the Viking collection by 49th and Market. And since the page is about me, I decided to do everything that I love. So green is my favorite color. So there's going to be a lot of green. And I have this really big photo of myself that I'm just going to cut myself in the tree out of. It's me jumping in front of a giant tree in the Pacific Northwest on a trip that we took recently. So I thought that would be fun. But I know a lot of times people have trouble maybe scrapbooking about themselves. So my suggestion to you is to do what I did. So you can see that white paper right there. I just kind of did one of those little surveys that you find on Instagram. And there was one that just said like things that I like your favorites, and you just kind of fill it out. And then one was like either or, which I see those all the time too, to put in your stories. So I had like saved these in my notes, and I had done them around my birthday. So I decided just to use those instead of actual journaling. And so it's just kind of telling a few things about myself that are my favorites right now. And it would be fun to look back and see what has changed and what hasn't. Or if you have a hard time writing about yourself, maybe. But I feel like these are very important things that people, when they're looking at your scrapbooking someday, when you're not around, they would like to know these things about you, you know? They're not something that you normally necessarily put in your scrapbooking stories. So I think that it's a good thing for everyone to do. So I encourage all of you to try to make something about yourself in your scrapbooking. So I just have this fun stamp set. It's by Heidi Swap, but I'm just making my journaling kind of into a postcard. So I'm just using my favorites, Distress Oxides, and I have all these green colors because green is my favorite. So I have a scrap piece of paper. So when you are stamping, I suggest having a little scrap of paper to try out your stamps before you put them on, especially because I had this stamp set that hadn't been used yet. So I wanted to make sure that everything was stamping well, and the amount of pressure that I needed to get a clean image. So definitely try those out before you stamp them onto something that you maybe don't want to have to reprint. So this is a fun way to kind of jazz up any journaling that you may want to add to your page. And so if you just like print in black and then stamp it up with lighter color inks, and layering your stamps makes it look really nice and kind of intentional, like it was maybe, I don't know, like an actual postcard, or like it was truly like a piece of ephemera that you printed your journaling on top of, if that makes sense. I decided to go and add in a little bit of black as well for the parts that maybe look like they were done by the by the post office. And so that also inspired me to add black into my page design. So you'll see that coming up here in a moment. But yeah, don't be afraid to layer your stamps and combine your stamp sets as well. I didn't combine any this time, but I love to do that. I had pulled some out because I was going to do some like dies that kind of matched with my journaling, like tacos or coffee, but I actually decided that was not going to go with the theme of the page, so I changed my mind there. So I'm sorry, but I forgot to show you the embossing folder that I used. But I have this really gorgeous 6x6 Altenew embossing folder. I think it's called Falling Foliage. And so anyway, it gives me those really gorgeous leaves that you see over there on the black cardstock. I wanted to lighten it up though, and I'm one who likes to give the people what they want. And from what my affiliate links are telling me and all my comments are telling me is that you people love this giant scalloped border patch. It's by EK Success. I'll link it down below because always there's someone who asks, but it's a big win with you guys. So I thought, well, why not give the people what they want? And I added it in this project as well. And it is very lovely. I love it. And so I used it on this really gorgeous, also an embossed paper. It's by Lawn Fawn. It has this really beautiful, it's hard to see on here, but a wood grain texture to it. So I'm also going to cut little 1-inch strips to go down the other side of that black cardstock to just lighten it up on that side as well. Obviously, I don't have to take it all the way to the bottom of the page because my photo and my journaling are going to cover most of that up at the bottom. But yeah, so I have a little bit of pink. Oh, pink. What? No, I have a little bit of white peeking out on both sides. And watch me here. Like, I know that I'm not normally one for, measuring so much and using straight lines, but like, it's obvious here in a second when I start putting my black cardstock back on here. So I do have to get out my T-square ruler, but that's okay. You would have thought that this kind of like border punch thing would really be easy to line up with the top and bottom of the page, but apparently not, because once I stick this down, you can see it's really off center, like kind of going downhill situation. So it's not peeking out in the same way at the bottom as it is at the top. So don't worry, I'll fix it. I know that I'm a hot mess sometimes, but I'm not that hot of a mess. Also, when you dry emboss this paper, it doesn't want to stick really well. So make sure to put a ton of adhesive. Also, when you dry emboss paper, spritz your cardstock just the tiniest little bit, and it won't crack when it goes through the die cut machine. I have a Sizzix Big Shot, and I swear by it. I use it on basically every layout that I use. So it's just not in the camera shot. So, but I definitely recommend a manual die cut machine. So there we go. We have those scallops nice and lined up. And now I'm going to put the black cardstock down. And I know that there's a seam that you can see. And I have 12 by 12 paper, but the embossing folder wouldn't be 12 by 12. But anyway, it doesn't matter because we're going to hide that seam with the journaling and with the photo. So I'm just sticking the white on the other side to peek out and just make sure that all that black doesn't make the page kind of like too much of a dark thing. Even though I can be dark sometimes, that might describe me as well. This was a fun shot that my best friend got when we were on our trip, me jumping in front of this tree. Highly recommend if you are on a trip and you can jump. Try a jumping shot, a la Amy Tan. I think she even has tutorials on how to do it. So I just wanted a little something to distinguish the journaling from the rest of the page, mostly because the journaling was printed on a piece of white cardstock that was not as crisp white as the other whites on the page. So it needed a little definition between the two so that it wasn't like glaringly obvious. But I like that little like transparent paper. And so I'm also going to pop it up. I have these little pop dots from a cherry on top, and I'm almost out and I have to get some more. Let's see. What are we doing here? Oh, I did my title. Okay. So my title is Saucy and Bossy. It was just like a fun, silly little quote that I had saved for a long time. But first of all, I love condiments, and I can be a little saucy, and I'm pretty bossy. And of course, I've been told that my whole life. I embrace it. I am when I am. I'm not for everybody. It's fine. But I cut the words out with the Jeff Alphas from Pink Fresh Studio. I always love Pink Fresh Studio Alphas, and my favorite are the Heathers, but Jeff is coming on a close second. So there's a back cut, which is the green, and then there's the inside, which has little grooves. It's a little bit hard to see because I cut it on this gorgeous black glitter paper. And I did ink up the edges of the green background paper with that little dauber you saw me doing for a second. And it's hard to tell from far away, but in the close-up shots, you'll be able to see that it gives the title a really nice definition that will kind of be seen well off of the page. So, again, I love a good title, and I love funny things and rhyming things and punnies. And so I thought, I need to do something like that for the page that's all about me. It just is further says about me. But my one complaint about the alphas is there is no ampersand. And I love a good ampersand. But anyway, I found this lovely little sticker on an old sticker sheet. So I decided to use that. Now we're getting ready to stick everything down. We're almost done. Yeah. I use the Over app. I don't think it's called the Over app. I think it's called GoDaddy now. But that is what I use to create like my larger prints, or if I need to edit a photo into a different kind of size and print it out that way. That's the program that I use on my phone, or the app, the program. Listen to me. I am old too. So there go my foam dots to pop up my journaling. And I like to add that little bit of dimension, and again, that helped to get the not so crisp white journaling card away from the white border punched bits. So I'm going to add a lot of Nuvo adhesive to stick down these alphas, especially when it is sticking to the embossed paper because of the texture of the paper. It doesn't really like to stick very well. These are, like I said, these are the Jeff alphas. I'll link those down below as well. And as well as an affiliate link to the store if you'd like to shop. Oh, also, if you hop along and leave comments on everybody's video, then you will be entered for a chance to win a $15 store credit to a cherry on top, which is very generous. And you can stock up on your own goodies to tell a story about yourself. If you are inspired to do some scrapbooking about yourself, please tag me. I would love to read it, love to see it. On Instagram, or talk about it in the, the forum on cherryontop.com. I'm just adding a few like glittery, sparkly bits because that's me. I love glitter. I love sparkle, rustic sparkle, trees and sparkle. That is me. So those are clear ones, which are really lovely because the Nuvo adhesive drives clear, and then you'll be able to see whatever color is underneath it through. I really like the way that they look on the black. They're subtle but pretty. I think we're about it. So make sure you hop along, enter that for that chance to win store credit. Let me know if you have any questions. I will link down below with the products that I've used, as well as to the store and to the other friends on the design team, so you can hop along. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'd love it if you'd like and subscribe. Bye, y'all.